game around the same time as his good friend Jack Harlow, and it was like as Jack was rising up the ranks of music, Druski was rising up the ranks of comedy. During that time, he has become the most infamous skit comedian online, and this has obviously afforded him many opportunities, including his own show, countless sponsorships and commercials, features in movies, stake in Happy Dad alcoholic beverages, a feature on 2K, a comedy tour, and frequent collaborations with the biggest streamers and comedians in the world. Basically, this man became a cash cow, as Druski has an insane ability to take everyday situations and types of people and turn them into a viral skit or a meme. And his comedy just has this way of reflecting and predicting in real life situations. But now Druski has found himself wrapped up in the Diddy situation, as he and his friend and popular wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., have been listed in some of these Diddy accusations. But the claims they are throwing around here are honestly so outlandish that it almost makes this hard to believe. Now, yesterday was when this bombshell would hit the timeline. In the matter of Ashley Parham versus Sean Diddy Combs, an amended complaint names 2 more plaintiffs and several additional defendants, including Odell Beckham Jr., Druski, and a myriad of other people. So previously it was just Ashley Parham versus Sean Diddy Combs, and then a couple John Does that were not listed, and now those John Does, the main ones, have been listed as Druski and Odell Beckham Jr. In total, Druski's name is actually listed 45 different times in this lawsuit, but these are the key details that really make everyone think that this is pretty far-fetched. Defendant Diddy then instructed another defendant Doe to also violate plaintiff defendant Doe, who has been determined to be defendant Druski, is what they're alleging. They say instead of immediately violating the plaintiff, defendant Druski doused plaintiff with more oil and lubricant and then jumped on top of the plaintiff's naked and oiled body, treating it like a slip and slide, and knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his enormous size. So they're saying Druski was in there slipping and sliding all around. Defendant Druski then caught himself from sliding over the plaintiff's oiled body and off the bed. He then began violating the plaintiff through her reproductive parts. While defendant Druski was violating the plaintiff, defendant Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began pleasuring himself while recording plaintiff's violation by defendant Druski. Another party's phone fell on the bed near the plaintiff. The plaintiff then attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil/lubricant that had been doused all over her person by defendants Diddy and Druski. Obviously, at this point, the baby oil is like infamous in this Diddy case.
What the fuck?
For those of you who don't remember, they claim that they discovered over 1,000 bottles of laced baby oil in Diddy's house.
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs staff used to stock hotel rooms.
I knew Druski
more than 1,000 bottles.
I knew Druski had something to do with it. He was a little too close to Diddy.
To grab the
and
phone.
He blew up.
Throughout this violent gang violation,
he was kicking it in Diddy bathroom and shit. Like,
plaintiff, including that he
I said this was gonna happen.
When defendant Druski was finished violating the plaintiff, defendant KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily functions. And they say this is when they attached her to an IV and pretty much brought her back to life, made sure she wasn't gonna die. And that was apparently when Diddy, Shane, who is apparently the man who introduced Diddy to this person, KK, Odell, and Druski then exited the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. And so obviously this all had the internet going absolutely wild. Of course, people immediately started resurfacing old clips of Diddy hanging out with Druski.
Don't mind if I do.
Bro, I remember when he posted this shit. I was like,
they were basically saying that this clip hits different now, as it was also rumored that Diddy had been lacing drinks at his infamous parties.
I wouldn't, Shot.
Said Druski got down bad and dirty. According to the
also
black
asked
and
at one
white,
point what it was like
apparently
to attend these Diddy parties.
You ever been to one of Diddy
he was
parties?
mentioned in the case. They say he was one of the John Does.
I've been not. Hey, what the fuck you smirking for?
I ain't seen that.
I've been in attendance.
We just asking regular
That's all
questions.
I said. That's all I said. I said I've been in attendance. I have been in attendance.
We never been. We just asking.
We just asking. Yeah. As soon as you asked, he said,
You had fun? I ain't seen that.
Yeah, you did. Huh?
I ain't seen that.
Yeah, I had fun. Yeah, I mean, it was a party. I wasn't at one of them parties.
What party? Say that about the party. What party?
Niggas, y'all
What
smart.
parties you tell me say that?
I have been in attendance at a puff party. You know what I'm saying? I've been in attendance. Yeah, I went. Yeah, the party I went to, it was girls turn up. You know what I'm saying? The regular. You know what I mean? Other celebrities and shit. Yeah,
That's what you do.
Now, obviously, Druski does like to troll. Yes, his body language became a little bit uncomfortable, but you do have to keep in mind that thousands of different people have been to these Diddy parties, allegedly, and obviously when they're all asked about it, they all say, well, you know, I went to the Diddy party, but I didn't go to, like, the Diddy party, like the behind the doors party that was going on. So then I started questioning, well, what was Diddy's real relationship with Druski? And as you guys can see here, back in 2021, Druski did have this show called Sneaking In with Druski, and upon further inspection you can see that this was airing on Revolt, which was a media network that was primarily owned and founded by Sean Diddy Combs. And although he no longer owns any shares in the company, back in 2021 he was still running that shit, and he presumably gave that opportunity to his boy Druski. I also thought that this little tidbit was interesting because Odell Beckham Jr. and Druski have been friends for quite a few years now. Baltimore
And they
Ravens
both
wide
was
receiver
mentioned
Odell Beckham Jr.
as the
struck up a
jailed
friendship with
John
Druski upon
Does.
finding his videos and invited the comedian to stay at his home during the COVID-19 pandemic. And obviously the pandemic was back in early 2020, and that's where these dates really start not matching up, because the defendant is saying that this happened on March 23rd, 2018, way before Druski was even remotely famous or known online, where the defendant says that this guy Shane invited the plaintiff over to his home to assist him with his cancer medications because he was weak and unable to open his medications. She says upon her arrival that this guy Shane wanted to give her a ride in his new car, and she says this is when this guy Shane pretty much set her up for the violation that allegedly involved Diddy, Druski, and OBJ. Now, much like with Jay-Z with his recent Diddy accusations, Druski would respond swiftly to this filing, where he says the allegation is a fabricated lie. I wasn't a public figure in 2018. I was broke and living with my mom without any connections to the entertainment industry at the time of this allegation, so the inclusion of my name is truly outlandish. My heart breaks for actual victims of abuse, but I'm fully confident that the evidence will expose this falsehood and the individuals who are maliciously trying to game the legal system to peddle false narratives. So he kind of has the same stance that Jay-Z had back a couple months ago, saying this whole thing is a bunch of bullshit and the timeline isn't even really adding up. And of course, when something like this comes out, you're gonna have a lot of people running with the story, like this tweet that went viral where this girl says, I can't believe hashtag Odell Beckham Jr. and hashtag Druski are in this new Diddy lawsuit taking turns violating this girl. Wow. You had other popular hip-hop and media pages saying Druski did what? The same sentiment is shared here, ironically including this misinformation meme. Then you had people using Druski's own skits against him, like this guy who says there's no way that this Druski shit is real. Basically saying that was Druski's reaction to this information. Another user says Druski after someone didn't give him
I don't get how
consent.
people don't believe it. And they were real close with Diddy.
This guy specifically seems
ain't
to
that
really be
shocking.
leading the charge when it comes to these Druski jokes about this very serious situation. He says Druski's lawyer right now.
We got good and bad news. Good news, we got your payment, buddy. Bad news, they gave you life. Sayonara.
So yeah, it's just crazy to see this guy's own skits and various statements being used against him at this point, even if it is a joke. These are the type of things that people try to get off online, and they do end up going viral. And it's really all just for a couple little Twitter shekels and a little bit of clout. Like, it's not worth making this type of weird, shitty joke, whether you believe he's guilty for some reason or not. Because honestly, I think it's a whole bunch of nonsense. And it leads to other people making more serious statements like this. Okay, so now that Druski was named in the Diddy lawsuit for a gang violation, this creepy skit he made in 2022 about guys getting girls drunk to have sex with them is aging so horribly. And it's like, does the person that posted this not understand that the entire point of this skit was to pretty much dog out guys that act like this? Like, the whole point of the skit is to say that guys who act like this are pieces of shit. Now here is a clip from 4 months ago of this news network and of the lawyer representing this woman Ashley Parham in this case, and now these other two Jane Does, speaking on behalf of her client and the entire situation.
Well, her attorney says she was in her 30s at the time of this alleged violent attack. It happened just about half a mile away from the Orinda police station here in a quiet neighborhood about 6 years ago.
So yeah, 6 years ago, long before Druski was known at all.
Ashley Parham says in 2018, Diddy and his entourage violently gangbang style her in Orinda. Her attorney, Ariel Mitchell, says it all started when she met a man named Shane Pierce in a bar.
Was Druski even around
who
that?
began a FaceTime call with Diddy.
Wait, now I might be on Druski's side.
Combs having something to do, that she didn't like him because he had something to do with Tupac's murder.
The lawsuit
was that nigga even around in 2018?
Her over to set her up to be by Diddy. The Contra
he didn't start coming around till like 2020. What was that, 2021?
March 23rd, 2018. We take these cases seriously, and detectives thoroughly investigated the accusations. It was later determined the claims were unfounded.
Druski was
and
known.
that does make things a little bit more interesting for me, because obviously a legitimate report was made at that time, but even back then the police say, well, we found no wrongdoing. As a matter of fact, they're saying we don't believe this ever even happened.
She also reported the incident to Walnut Creek Police and Orinda Police without naming Diddy, as she felt she would not be believed. The woman who lives there confirms Pierce lived there, but that he was too sick with cancer and ALS to have done this. She also says Pierce did not know Diddy.
So they're saying this guy has not only cancer, but also ALS. Now, if I really want to get into my conspiracy bag, I want to note here that I think that this all could just be a mastermind smokescreen being set by Diddy and his legal team. It's like Pokemon, okay? The accuracy goes down once you set the smokescreen. Because recently, the case against Jay-Z has been dropped without prejudice, which I believe means that they cannot, like, try to bring it back up in court. They cannot try Jay-Z again for the same thing. Obviously, there was a lot of holes in the timeline of that story. The accuser's own father said that he doesn't remember any of that taking place. And overall, the timeline and the series of events, especially when she came out on that news segment, just really were not adding up.
I ain't gonna lie, it sounded like he didn't do it.
Was made public, and that entire thing was dismissed. Sean Combs' legal team would put out this statement. Today's complete dismissal by the 1-800 attorney is yet another confirmation that these lawsuits are built on falsehoods, not facts. For months, we have seen case after case filed by individuals hiding behind anonymity, pushed forward by an attorney more focused on media headlines than legal merit. Just like this claim, the others will fall apart because there is no truth to them. Sean Combs has never essayed or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. No number of lawsuits, sensationalized allegations, or media theatrics will change that reality. We will continue to fight these baseless claims and hold those responsible for these false claims. This is just the first amendment that will not hold up in the court of law. And that's why I have the feeling that this entire thing is a bit of a smokescreen. Because if you have enough of these outrageous allegations coming out, it allows you to kind of start poking holes and giving a little bit of reasonable doubt to accusations that could actually be legit. And it's like the more outlandish they get, like describing Druski as using her as a slip and slide and then the timeline not adding up at all, it just hurts the case for people who are possibly actual victims.
But he didn't
of
link up
abuse
with,
at the hands
at least
of P.
publicly,
Diddy.
he
And at this
didn't link
point,
up with
like
Diddy
seems
until like
so seemingly stuck in his
2021.
corner that it's like that's all they can do to kind of like alter the public perception a little bit. And as these cases start getting knocked down and dismissed, it kind of starts the social programming and people start to think, well, maybe these other things aren't real either. And obviously on the other end of the spectrum, you're going to have a whole bunch of people just bringing up false claims because they want a payday, they want a settlement. It's just the way they describe the entire series of events just seems a little bit too outlandish for me personally to believe. And I think that it could definitely hurt real victims in this case. Either way, I want to know what you guys think about these accusations down below. As always, also want to thank you guys for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing, but as you guys know, it's been your boy, the Tan Superman, and some other lawsuits out here need to be covered, so I'm out. Peace.
And I don't know, at the beginning, I was like, yeah, that nigga did that shit. After watching it, I don't know. I don't fucking know, nigga. It sounds like it's another situation like Jay-Z. That girl said he did whatever, but then they just dropped the shit. Did Druski do it? Shit, I don't know, bruh. I don't know, bruh. You don't know, my friend. You don't know, my friend. else they got on each. This nigga Baby Rich already pulling gold diggers. You just got the car like 2-3 days ago, gang. He already pulling the gold diggers. He ain't waste no time, shorty. -5 million. This a 2-hour vid, bruh. Do they got timestamps?
So let me get this straight. You won the largest cash prize in entertainment history.
How much taxes you pay?
Cash prize in entertainment history, $10 million from Beast Games.
The nigga that won the 10 million.
Oh,
how much taxes you pay?
Everyone's dying to know, how much is your tax payment?
Great question. I'm working on it. So I think it all depends on what I do with the money this year. And I think the crazy thing about MrBeast, he doesn't withhold taxes when he kind of gives the distribution. So I literally got $10 million wired to me. So it's up to me to do state taxes, other withholdings, federal taxes. And it just depends on
that's
how I invest the money when it comes to
that's how he do it for all
and nonprofits.
You on your own have to with the
TBD,
taxes and shit.
We'll tune in about a year.
He just give you whatever the prize money is.
Because you're in California.
Yeah.
And people online have been saying that you're going to have to give half, like a $5 million tax bill.
If you didn't do anything with the dollars, and obviously you can correct me if I'm wrong, I would have guessed that my taxes will be over $5 million. If I didn't donate to charity, or if I didn't tithe, or if I didn't give anything into a DAF or a CRT.
Now, why not move out of California? Because I would be thinking, okay, I know I have $5 million come in. Let's go and move to Las Vegas. Let's get out of California.
I thought about it. And I thought about it before. So I've worked in startups my whole life. And, you have these pipe dreams like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the next Uber or Google. And what happens if you have a distribution of 5 million or 10 million? And my wife and I have talked about it, but we just have a great support system for our son and for our family. We live directly close to my wife's sister and their 2 kids. Lucas has a caretaker who's amazing. And, to take them out of their schools and move them away was just like, yes, it'd be great to save 1.3 or $1.4 million, but it's like, is it worth it to disrupt our kids' lives?
And what about your job? Do you quit your job after winning that amount of money?
If I did have a job at the time, I would have. But, fortunately, I got laid off last April. So I was leading a sales team for a kind of startup healthcare company, and they went through some restructuring. I lost my job, which started doing some more entrepreneurial stuff, small business stuff. Which included kind of applying to Beast Games. So put it this way, I don't think I'll be going back to a W-2 anytime soon.
How did you find out about the show in the first place? Like, what prompted you to sign up?
Early 2024, I wanted to do more creative stuff. And, I've done musical theater, once every 5 years or so. And I'm like, okay, what else is out there? So I looked at some casting billboards and I saw MrBeast Beast Games. I'm like, oh, my oldest son, Jack, has introduced me to MrBeast. We've watched a bunch of videos. I see that he's kind of philanthropic. I'm like, I like this guy. And I go, if I can apply for this and get on, I can be like the cool dad for Jack, my 9-year-old, but also I could have a platform to talk about my son Lucas's rare disease. He's got a rare disease called creatine transporter deficiency. It's super rare. And if I can get on there, I can spread awareness to the world about it.
So where was it posted exactly? Because I didn't see anything of like, hey guys, apply for Beast Games.
So I saw it on like a casting billboard, a website. It's called a casting billboard that kind of says, we're looking for an extra in this movie, or we're looking for an actor for this commercial. So I saw it there. But I have friends who literally applied by seeing an ad on LinkedIn. He also posted it on X. So it wasn't widely advertised, and I think that's probably part of it. He probably wants people who are looking for it, who are trying to, who are really into it.
So on the casting websites, is that like a normal place that you go and peruse?
Me? No,
Yeah.
no. So it's, again, in the beginning of 2024, I was kind of like this midlife crisis for me. And I was like, I want to do more creative stuff. So I cold emailed like this modeling agency in San Francisco. I'm like, I want to get into commercials, or like, I want to just do something where I can express more, do more artistic stuff. And so after I signed up for that, I signed up for this website to see if I can self-source any gigs. And literally within weeks, I saw MrBeast Beast Games.
It's kind of funny. You look exactly like the type of guy I would see in a commercial. And I mean that in a very complimentary way.
Thank you.
It's like I could see you in a teeth whitening commercial.
Oh, I could see that.
That was like my number one thing.
Skincare.
It's like skincare,
moisturizer.
teeth whitening, like staying looking youthful even though you're not old.
Yeah, like a just for men commercial.
You could be a fake 55-year-old. And everyone's just like, how's this guy look 35?
Hey, any brands out there who are listening, please listen to this again and reach out to me.
So what is the vetting process like to get on Beast Games?
The application was you have to complete a video that's like 60 seconds or less that says, why do you want to be on Beast Games and what would you do if you won $1 million? And I wrote it on my whiteboard and I put an alarm on my phone, like the deadline date. I think it was May 31st. And guess what? May 31st came. I haven't done it yet. And I'm going, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? It's MrBeast. It's got to be edited well. It's got to be fun and exciting. And I just used my webcam and recorded. The background in my office was kind of messy, but my son was in there, Lucas. It was just a super simple message or a super simple video. And I'm like, I press send and I'm like, there's no way they're going to choose me. Like, this is so boring. And 2 weeks later, I got a call from a gal named Danielle.
He went to go
said,
get his
hey,
son. He like, yeah, we gotta respond to this.
Made it past the first step. Then I had to do like a social media background check, a kind of health and wellness background check, had to do another video and then another phone call. And I'd say, fast forward a month, I finally got the call that says, you're in Beast Games.
So they check your social media to make sure that you haven't posted any like reprehensible content.
That's my guess.
And the other check, the health and wellness check, is to make sure that you wouldn't like fall down and like.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of how is your cardiovascular health. Like if you go through some challenging things, how are you going to respond? And I think it's also probably a little bit more psychological too. Is like there's some questions in there to really see how you would respond to stressful, emotional, and psychological situations.
What are some of the questions they ask you?
I don't know. I can't remember offhand, but they ask the same question many different ways, many different times.
Try to get you to like slip up.
So I think that's part of it. They're trying to make sure people are being honest and not gaming the system.
Did they do like a criminal background check or anything? Do you know?
I think they did. Because I remember like you can request a copy of your background check. Fortunately, there's nothing on mine, but I'd imagine that Amazon and MrBeast would 100% do that.
Yeah. I watched your video. I thought it was really it was memorable because you were with your son, and your son goes, as you're in the middle of a sentence, to play the piano behind. And you pull him back, and be like, that was great. I thought that was really sweet to include your son in that. What did your wife think at the time?
She didn't know I was applying. So I didn't tell her I applied until I got in.
Why?
My wife is like the most amazing wife around. She's like the best planner. And I know that once I tell her I'm going to do something, in her mind, she's going to think about all the logistics that have to take place in order for it to go well. So it's, okay, how long are you going to be gone? Okay, what do we need to do? What days are you taking the kid to school? Who's going to do this for practice? Okay, who's going to go to the grocery store? She just will start thinking about solutions to all the challenges this brings. And I just didn't want to do that to her until I for sure knew I was in. But she loved the video once she saw it. But yeah, it was like a month later.
Yeah, I was curious what people do when they go on a show like this. Do they quit their jobs? Do they have jobs? They could be like, hey guys, I'm going to be gone.
The contestants in Beast Games were awesome. And it's just such a wide variety of people. But there was, I met at least a couple dozen people who quit their jobs. And I'm sure there was dozens more. There's other people who were kind of either small business owners or more kind of in the industry, in the arts or, actors or influencers or content creators. So people had a little bit more flexibility, but I think most people would kind of go, I can go take 2 weeks off. If I go further than that, I'm going to have to get creative with my job.
Yeah. So, I was always wondering what people did in those situations or like for money to like not have income for potentially a month.
I remember one, a friend of mine kind of took 2 weeks off and she's like, if it goes past this date, I have to call my boss, and she works for an airline, and I have to get super creative on how I'm going to stay. And she went super far. So like I still don't know what her conversation went, but I know she's still employed. But it's I think a lot of people took the leap of faith and took the risk.
So when you're in there in the city just competing in Beast Games, do you have access to technology, a phone?
No. So the moment you kind of check in, you check in your laptop and your phone, and they seal it so it's only in like a bag that's assigned to you. And they put it in a kind of a locked room. And I didn't have my phone from early August until the middle of September. So it was like 5 weeks where I went without my phone, without any internet.
How do people contact you if there's an emergency? Is there a person that someone could reach?
Yeah, so the Beast team did an awesome job of kind of letting your emergency contact know what's the status in the game. So after every challenge, my wife would get a text and go, hey, by the way, Jeffrey made it to the top 500. Jeffrey made it to the top 250. And then it was like, Jeffrey made it and is traveling to Panama for the island. So it's like kind of cool that she can take this and show my son Jack, like, hey, guess what? Here's what Dad's doing. So they keep them in the loop. And yeah, there's obviously emergency contacts that the Beast team can reach out to and vice versa.
I would, if I were your wife, I'd get so excited to be like, oh my gosh, top 250. Oh my gosh, top 100, and like receive those texts.
It was like, I don't know. I heard it was like a last minute thing that they were going to do to the contestants. And I'm like, that is like brilliant. It's like just a great way to keep the families engaged. But yeah, it was when I first chatted with my wife and son, Jack, they're like, it was awesome. Cause it's just like, hey, any updates? How's he doing? What's going on? Yeah, it's just a brilliant way, I think, that Beast could keep people involved.
To me, it's shocking that it was like 5 weeks for Beast Games, because as a viewer of Beast Games, I thought it was like maybe like a week or 10 days.
That's what it felt like.
But 5 weeks is like way longer. How was it being disconnected from society, like reality, for that long?
Oh, I mean, the first 3 days are hard. First 3 days, like, oh my God, like you're just like everybody's phantom reaching for their phone.
Yeah.
And then, I'd say probably day 4, day 5, you kind of go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, I feel like I'm in the 90s again. I'm a child of the 90s. I think I had the best time to grow up. I was born in 80, so I got to live like 6th, 7th grade, ride my bikes. No one knew where I was. And then I get the internet in high school. Like, it was perfect. So it was awesome to be disconnected. And it just forced people to chat with others and get to know others.
It's funny you mentioned when you were born, because we were doing research on you, and Wikipedia.
Fuck that, why you change on me? Change on me. Change on me. Mommy, she like Jesse. Give it D 2 times. She be like, oh yeah, see. Man, I tell my shit, man. When I be impressive. Man, I love my girl. She like KO, you my bestie. Then I asked her dark days. Came out like I'm messy. Man, they some say vroom. Now they say I'm sit on up. Sit on up. Sit on up. Sit on down. What you want? What you want? What you want? And I'm like GLO, bitch I glow. GLO, bitch I glow. GLO, bitch I glow. Get that bag, get a bag, get some more. You done tell me good night. So glad that you left me. Said this is your last time. You said this already. You ain't
supposed to be Verdansk.
You know not be calling to me like that, cause I get petty. If there's one thing that I learned from school, is check your setting. She won't give me heady, so I'll link up, she like Betty. After I leave your house, let me out your phone, bitch, don't text me. I don't wanna be making music right now, I'm at 9 jetty.
I'm bitch like Jesse. Give it D 2 times, she be like, oh yeah, see.
Man, I tell my shit, man,
when I be impressed.
Man, I love my girl, she like KO, you my bestie. Man, I asked her dark days, came out like I'm messy. Man, they some say vroom, now they say I'm sit on up, sit on down. What you want? What you want? What you want? And I'm like GLO,
let her go.
GLO, bitch I glow. GLO, bitch I glow. Get that bag, get a bag, get some more.
Finish this one.
What
The fuck is that?
So up, get better. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. You don't gotta be afraid to do your drugs wherever. Sober up, get better. get better. I wanna party with you, but do you wanna party with me? And I hope you're not in need of love, girl, cause I got the love that you need. Bring me all the way up to the moon, cause I don't wanna be here when you leave.
I just realized BO6 don't got battle rifles.
Could you wake me from out of this dream? I'm too blessed to complain, I feel good. Rockin' G Nikes, 90 chains, I still do. I wake up shot, I'm on the Ford.
Damn, I just realized that.
He want a name, you gon' kill for it. I know you do best, then you straight, but you don't show it. Some other girls got nothing on my darling, but she don't know it. Fuck those shades, 762's what we throwin'. Throw a parade, brought my shit in the streets when I'm going.
Hey, Sarah.
Don't wake them up, just let them sleep. Let them keep on snoring. I'm on my own, living like court. If I get out my door, I can afford. I hope you don't give up. You're popping Adderall, but I don't think it helps. Then gave you all of me, I'm losing myself. Hey, Sarah. You don't gotta be afraid to do your drugs wherever. Sober up, get better. Sober up, get better. I wanna party with you, but do you wanna party with me? And I hope you're not in need of love. I got the love. Bring me all the way up to the moon, cause I lately life's been like a night. Wake me from my feel now, I'm sipping slow. I wonder one day will I heal. I don't really know. Sip on this cup until it's real, but I got plenty for the thrill. It's so nightmares this time. I don't wanna wake up. Fuck them if they say no. But my big pride, I ain't wanna say no. Pop another one. I'm on the way. It's my depression is dead. I need a love. Druski told me that you better than this. Fuck the obstacles. Only way to Hey, something like my twin if they compare us. I just wanna party with you, can't share her. Paranoid cause I'm scared to lose who I care for. So apart they can't tear us. Hey Sarah, you don't gotta be afraid to do your drugs wherever. Sober up, get better. Sober up, get better. Sober up, get better. We do the same drugs, I can help you relapse. Sober up and fucking, we can go to rehab. Spend nights and hours chasing goals, no more empty shows. I buy you flowers, hit the road, hope you use your roads. Hop in the whip with my fin, pull the curtains back. Girl, you know that you're a 10 like this Percocet. I buy you jewelry and I handle all your court fees. Rich Jackie in the mansion on morphine. Asking about your problem, maybe someone should hug you. We got the same habits, how the fuck could I judge you? If you lose the faith and wanna pick up your razor, I put on my cake cause I'm the one who can save you, huh? You the one who got the plug rich, you keep calling. You the one who keep on playing sick at the doctor. You the one who stay, get a blessing on your worst day. Girl, I shit about your hair on pressing for your birthday. We shoot a movie like Cole Bennett. She keep on putting her nose in it. She said let's go to a new planet. We can go start us a whole family. I got horses in my whip, pull up hee-haw. Heard you got the pill, man, on speed out. I see that you're going hard, tell you ease off. I lost too many of my dogs till they fit now. Spikes on the bottom of my shoes. These bitches look like some cleats. And I hope you don't find a new plug, girl, cause I'ma be gone for some weeks. In the shower, I look better on you, cause you should be in these streets. And I heard you was hot in the deep. That's a boss better be, hey Sarah. You don't gotta be afraid to do your drugs wherever. Sober up, get better. Sober up.
Estoy para control. Pero no,
fucked up. Shit, I didn't try to jump out the window. Need that nigga AR.
Your squad mates back on station. Good work.
What the hell is this? The fuck? Sight dirty. They just got their little ass patched. Yeah, that bitch want at it. No way we survive that. There we go.
Station prices are adjusted. Enemy UAV is online.
Where the fuck that little rat just come from? Damn. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. They waiting on me. R.I.P.
I'm sober, I get better. I wanna party with you, but do you wanna party with me? And I hope you're not in need of love, girl. 'Cause I got the love that you need. Bring me all the way up to the moon, 'cause I don't wanna be here when you leave. Lately life's been like a nightmare. Could you wake me from out of this dream? So up, hey sir. Hey sir. So up, hey sir. Hey sir. Could you wake me from out of this dream? Lately life's been like a nightmare. Wake me from out of this dream. So
video, nigga. Just like that. That's why you still recording. You gotta keep that in the bed.
Oh God, it's going at the end.
You gotta keep that in the bed. That shit gonna be so sweet.
Solo quad. Bomb, nigga. They swooping their crowds.
Enemy sentry is active.
They throwing that shit. Being thirsty and shit. They on my ass. All that for one nigga. Leave me the fuck.
Enemy UAV is online. Friendly loadout drops on the way.
Timeline expired. UAV exited the AO.
Hostile UAV in the area. Fire sales over. Adjusting prices. Enemy dropping into the area. Be advised, reconnaissance is no longer active. This is fatigue. Enemy UAV ahead. There's an increased payout for this job. Hostile UAV in the area. Moving.
Look like I do politics in court wearing a suit and tie. I don't wanna talk if you never seen a brain oozing that. I see how y'all be handling them pussy niggas. What you gonna do with I? Nothing. Niggas don't wanna try cause I be bustin'.